Så hjertelig velkommen dere til dette webinaret som skal handle først og fremst om University of Portsmouth. Vi skal etter hvert gi ordet videre til Jonathan Williams, som jobber med opptak ved University of Portsmouth. Og så han skal få ordet etter en 10 minutters introduksjon. Og så helt til slutt så tar vi litt spørsmål fra dere som har logget på. Så jeg tenkte da at vi rett og slett sveiver i gang. Først så skal vi se litt på hva sonor og hva vi kan gjøre for deg som søker. Vi skal da få også en presentasjon av University of Portsmouth, som hovedattraksjonen i dag, og så tar vi en liten spørsmål-session og Q&A til slutt. Så hva sonor da? Sonor litt som Tinder, men i stedet for at vi da matcher folk da romantisk, så matcher vi da studenter med ulike utdanningsinstitusjoner. Så vi hjelper deg da med å finne det universitetet som passer deg best mulig, vel enkelt forklart. Sonor fungerer også litt som en interesseorganisasjon. Det vil si at vi hjelper da studenter i å sørge for at de får de rettighetene de har, og vi fremforhandler også gode stipendavtaler på de universitetene som vi samarbeider med, men vi følger også opp ting i forhold til ambassader der man trenger visum, og også med tanke på lånekasse og den type ting, så prøver vi å påvirke litt politisk for å sørge for at utenlandsstudentene får et så godt tilbud som overhodet mulig. Så på en eller annen, ikke så veldig matematisk måte, så kan man si at sonor det beste fra arbeidslivsorganisasjonene og Tinder da. Men hva det vi faktisk gjør? Jo, etter du har tatt kontakt med oss, så hjelper vi deg med å kartlegge de studiemulighetene du har utifra det utgangspunktet og de ønskene som du har. Vi også sånn at vi jo da eksperter på de universitetene som vi samarbeider med, som gjør at vi veldig ofte kan fange opp feil i selve søknadsprosessen og sånne type ting, strømlinjeformer søknadsprosessen for deg som student, og sørger da for at du ikke får avslag fra universitetene hvis det skulle være en formalitet som feil i søknadsdokumentene dine for eksempel. Så kan du med trygghet puste lettet ut når du søker gjennom sonor om at alt skal være i orden når du søker. Vi svarer da selvfølgelig også på spørsmål som handler om lånekassa, visum og den type ting. Vi hjelper dere også med å melde dere opp til språktester hvis dere skulle trenge det. Hvis dere har spørsmål om reise, studieforberedelse, registrering av fag, så hjelper vi dere også med det selvfølgelig. Og så setter vi dere også i kontakt med andre studenter som skal til det samme studiestedet som du eventuelt da tenker å reise til. Det bare et tilbud, og vi deler da bare kontaktinformasjonen fra de andre studentene som også har takket ja til å dele kontaktinformasjon. Så det litt hva vi i sonor kan gjøre for dere da. Og best av alt, det at all den hjelpen som vi gir, den helt gratis og uforpliktende. Og når du tar kontakt med oss, så det den gjengen her sånn som du kommer i kontakt med, det Team Sonor. Og vi har alle sammen egen erfaring fra studier i utlandet, så vi vet litt om hvordan det å være norsk student ute i den store verden, og benytter gjerne av den ekspertisen som vi har i forbindelse med det. Det vil jeg virkelig anbefale. Vi har rundt 60 forskjellige studiedestinasjoner fordelt på disse landene, og til sammen rundt 5.500 forskjellige studieretninger som vi kan hjelpe dere med å få opptak på. Til sammenligning så det rundt 25 institusjoner for høyere utdanning i Norge, og rundt 1100 forskjellige studieprogram som du kan søke på gjennom samordnet opptak. Som andre ord så finnes det en verden av muligheter der ute, og den kartleggingen av hvor du skal studere, den starter da gjennom sonor. Men hvorfor skal man studere i utlandet da? Det det veldig mange gode grunner til. Vi skal se på mine topp 10 beste grunner til å studere i utlandet. Og det da altså disse påstandene, det ikke jeg som har funnet på det, de basert på en forskningsrapport som utarbeidet av NIFU, hvor de sammenlignet hvordan utenlandsstudentene klarte seg sammenlignet med de som har studert i Norge. Og den forskningsrapporten konkluderte med at de som har studert i utlandet kommer raskere i jobb etter utdanning, at de som har studert i utlandet føler mer mestring på jobb, at det en høyere andel som i lederstillinger, særlig da til 5 og 10 år i arbeidslivet. De har samme eller høyere lønn. Det da flere studiemuligheter, det har vi allerede snakket litt om. Og generelt sett så også utenlandsstudentene mer fornøyd med utdanningen sin. Flere har også naturlig nok internasjonale karrierer, har bedre språk og bedre kulturforståelse. Og så det også sånn, heldigvis sånn at Lånekassa finansierer utenlandsoppholdet, og Lånekassa gir da støtte til alle universitetene og alle utdanningsprogrammene som Soner formidler, så da kan du være trygg på at du slipper å sjekke det ekstra. Men kanskje det som gjør at de aller fleste velger å reise til utlandet, det jo da de unike opplevelsene og vennene som man får, da gjerne for livet. Og det liker jeg da å eksemplifisere med det bildet her sånn. Hun i hvit kjole foran der sånn, det hun jeg gifta meg med, og dette her alle nasjonalitetene som var representert i vårt bryllup. Og selv om vi da begge to studerte i Storbritannia, så var det ikke sånn at vi bare ble venner med briter. Man blir en del av et internasjonalt fellesskap, så du kan være trygg på at når du reiser til utlandet, så møter du andre internasjonale studenter som også i samme situasjon som deg. Da. De nye i et land og må finne ut av alle de små tingene som gjør studielandet forskjellig fra det landet som de kommer fra. Så det en av de fine tingene med utenlandsstudier da, det at man får venner fra hele verden, og ikke bare nødvendigvis fra det landet man studerer i. Og så sa jeg litt om Lånekassa. Trenger ikke gå sånn veldig i detalj på det per dags dato. Mer om det kan dere ta med de veilederne som dere har i Sonor etter hvert som dere har søkt. Men jeg kan gi dere en kort oversikt først. Basisstøtten, det da det som skal dekke husleie, strøm, mat, vann, pils, kinobilletter og på en måte alt annet sånn hverdagslig som du trenger mens du student, og det den samme summen da uansett hvor man studerer i verden. 126 000 kroner ble utbetalt i løpet av et år, og så blir 75 000 lån, og 50 000 av det blir stipend når du står på eksamen. Og så det sånn da at når man studerer i utlandet, så må man betale noe som heter skolepenger, og det får man også støtte til. Her bildet litt mer komplisert, men enkelt forklart så får du utbetalt det skolen koster, og så blir ca. 35 000 av det gjort om til stipend. Og så det en siste sekk med penger som du får utbetalt fra Lånekassen. Det det som heter reisestøtte. Til Europa så den rundt 5 000 kroner, men for eksempel da til Australia så den rundt 27 000 kroner. Og den blir da utbetalt som 65% lån og 35% stipend. Så bare for å oppsummere kort av Lånekassa. Alle de utdanningene som du kan søke på gjennom Sonor godkjent for studiestøtte fra Lånekassa. Det eneste Lånekassa krever av deg i tillegg til at du har fått opptak på et universitet, det at du har en tilknytning til Norge, gjerne da i forbindelse med at du har et norsk statsborgerskap, og at du har generell studiekompetanse. Utover det så det da bare å søke støtten fra Lånekassa etter at du har fått opptak på et universitet. Så basisstøtte, skolepengestøtte og reisestøtte det du får fra Lånekassa som utenlandsstudent. Yes, so that concludes my brief introduction about study outside Norway. I will hand off this presentation to Jonathan, and I believe also if you have any questions at the later stage, I think Jonathan will be happy to answer any emails you send his way. So you can of course write down his details there. Without any further ado, I think I'll hand it off to Jonathan.
Okay, thanks very much, Thomas. Very interesting. It's always lovely to hear some beautiful Norwegian language. I'm a big fan. So yeah, good to be on the call with you guys this afternoon. And thank you as well for having us. We've had a long-standing partnership with Sono. I mean, I've been at Portsmouth for about 8 years now. Partnership that precedes my time at the university, and it's always been a fantastic team of colleagues at Sono. So very, very happy to work with you guys, and we do vouch for everything that you guys do. Thomas, please, can you confirm for me that my slides are changing? Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Okay, tusen tack. Okay, so I'm not going to talk too much. I know everybody is a little bit fed up with Zoom. So special thanks indeed for joining us. As I said, I'm Jonathan Williams. I've been at Portsmouth for about 8 years now. I'm not from here originally, but yeah, very happy in Portsmouth. It's a great place to live. It's a unique place. I definitely feel it's got more of a community feel to it, the vibe, the dynamic, as opposed to some of the larger cities. Obviously, Portsmouth is not for everyone. So hopefully over the course of the next 10-15 minutes, maybe it'll clarify for that for you in your mind. Portsmouth's a smaller city. We're quite a compact place. As you can see on the map there, we are about an hour just outside of central London, and we're right in the middle of the south coast, which means geographically it's fantastic. I'm from the very, very, very far north of England, close to the Scottish border originally, and living in Portsmouth is almost tropical for me. The weather is a lot better than what I grew up being used to, and it's nice to have London on the doorstep as well. But also, growing up by the sea, I always wanted to live in a city or a place that was relatively close to the seaside. In Portsmouth, we're lucky to have the beach, we have the marina area, and we also have lots of great outdoor spaces as well. Yeah, Thomas and I were discussing previously, just before we commenced, about the COVID rates, things like that, and I was just saying how impressed and fortunate I felt to live in Portsmouth, because having a city centre campus, a more compact place, you don't need to take public transport to get around, which is a big plus. And most people get around on foot. You can get from point A to B, I mean, right across campus or down to the beach in 10 minutes max. So yeah, it's very easy to get around, and I think that stands us in good stead going forwards as well. In terms of, hopefully there's not going to be increases again, but if there are increases in infection rates, I would imagine Portsmouth may be less affected by this because of the dynamic of the city, the makeup, the way things work in Portsmouth, and just the fact that generally we're more outdoorsy people in the city of Portsmouth, I would say. Other than our good transport links around the UK, we also are a port, as the name of our city suggests. So we have great links to the north of France, the north of Spain as well. I was just checking the chat. Yeah, if you guys do have any questions as I'm going, please feel free to put them in the chat as well. We'll do questions and answers in 10 minutes or so. And I mean, feel free to speak up at that point or mute yourselves. But as we're going, if you'd like to put questions in the chat as well, that's fine. So a brief overview of what we offer at the university in terms of courses. We have 5 main faculties. The largest faculty, and often the most popular, is the business and law. So in there we have courses in management, in economics, finance, banking, but also in things like marketing, digital marketing, which are on the rise as well in terms of interest. Creative and cultural industries is our media and arts faculty. So in there we have things like graphic design, courses related to CGI, photography, architecture, interior architecture as well. Humanities, we have some really strong courses in international relations, translation studies, and then science and health is our best ranked faculty. So Portsmouth, in terms of the subject specific rankings, our best degrees are in sports science, in biology, biotechnology, marine biology, and the sciences. We also have a really interesting course in astrophysics and cosmology, albeit quite a niche one. The oldest faculty at the university is our Faculty of Technology. So Portsmouth is a post-92 university, which means that pre-92 we were a college, and we were initially established as a college to provide engineering training to those in the Royal Navy many years ago. But yeah, since 92 we were given full university status, and yeah, it's branched out, and the university has grown and developed so much, and it has quite a diverse offering now, I would say. So we have courses in most subject areas. As you can see, there are about 400 odd degree programs across all of our faculties. So obviously the elephant in the room, the last 18 months, what to expect on campus. Portsmouth is a safe place. I would say I'm on campus now, I'm in the office. People are starting to come back more and more, I would say, in the last 2-3 months. Yeah, in Portsmouth, the rates have been low, which we're very fortunate for, but also because of the university's approach. So throughout the pandemic, something unique to Portsmouth that the university did was that we had asymptomatic testing throughout on campus. So people were getting tested without symptoms in order to help to prevent and to control the spread of the virus. So yeah, that was a big thing that we did on Portsmouth before any other university in the UK. Going forwards, we have a pop-up vaccination centre on campus, and yeah, students can just drop in to get their first or their second vaccine as is necessary, which is a great option. And I would like to say as well that it's not obligatory. So now in the UK, there are no restrictions. There's no law, and the university is not requiring it either. So if a student doesn't want to get vaccinated, it's not required. And although I would say we gently recommend it, we're not enforcing it by any means. In terms of masks as well, it's not obligatory in the UK or at the university to wear a mask when you're indoors. Personally, I do if I'm moving around within a building indoors, or if I'm ordering something in a coffee shop, for example, before sitting down. That's kind of the general etiquette that people have taken on. But like I say, it's not enforced by law, and people are not, you cannot force people to do it. But things that we are keeping in place that have worked well throughout the pandemic. So we're going to have one-way systems in buildings to prevent people from crossing over, meeting in corridors. There's going to be enhanced cleaning in all rooms and buildings throughout. And there'll be hand sanitizer on entry and exit to all buildings. And yeah, most of our students we envisage will be vaccinated when coming, but yeah, it's very difficult to tell. So we will have the vaccination centre in case people do want to get vaccinated whilst on campus. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about this, please put them in the chat. I understand it's the first time really for you guys coming abroad, probably for university, but it's also the first time universities are having to deal with this. So there is a bit of uncertainty in the air. If you would like to ask anything about what to expect on campus in terms of safety, things like that, please feel free to write in the chat. Being a post-92 university, a modern university, we have a big focus on learning in terms of practical aspects of learning, the hands-on stuff, and ensuring students get the most out of the degree. We think that this adds value to your time at the university, but also bridges the gap between your studies and getting a job. So we have a replica courtroom where students will kind of interact and then enact trials and things like that. We have Formula One student car that our engineering students build every year, and they enter into a competition. They travel around the country and they race against others, and things like that. But something unique, again, I would say about Portsmouth is that we have this cross-faculty collaboration. So rather than just the practical aspects, one example. So we have students on the film production course collaborating with students on the law course. So they come in and they film the law students when they're in the courtroom presenting arguments, defending, and then this provides content for the law students so they can self-analyze, they can look at their body language when they're defending. And this, other than kind of this, it's a unique approach. It also opens doors for the students as well. So they're expanding their network at the university. Everyone has a network of people with whom they live and people on their course, but this opens up further doors to people from other faculties. And that's something we really, really try to encourage at Portsmouth. And I'll give some more examples as well in a moment. A big question, I guess, top 3 in terms of what you guys think about when you're going to university. Where is it? What am I going to study? Can I get in? What do I need to get in? So in Portsmouth, if you're coming to do an undergrad degree, we're looking for a Vitnamal of around 4. Some of our courses, we can go down to 3.75 overall. And if you have achieved a 4 in English, from my experience, most Norwegians get this. I think all Norwegians that have come to Portsmouth have had at least a 4 in English. This means you don't need to take IELTS, you don't need to take TOEFL, which is a big plus, and it makes life easier for you. If you studied your bachelor's degree already in Norway, it would depend on the grade scale that you've had. So we'd be looking for an average grade of B or C, or if it's on a numerical scale from 1 to 2.5 in order to get accepted onto our master's courses. And again, for the postgrad, if you had a 4 in your Vitnamal English, we can still take that as sufficient to show your proficiency. Okay, so something else that we do in order to try and add as much value as possible to your time at the university, we have work placements integrated into all of our bachelor's degrees now. So in the UK, the bachelor's degrees are 3 years in total. You can make it a 4-year degree. We call it a sandwich degree. So you study your first 2, and then you take 1 year to take your work placement in the industry, and then you come back and complete your 4th year. And this really, again, bridging the gap between your studies and your work. It helps to develop your CV before you graduate. But we also find that when students come back after having completed the work placement, they're so much more motivated. They have this practical experience to draw on in their studies, and their grades end up soaring as well. Their grades go up so much, and so there are only positives to doing this. It is optional, but like I said, we recommend students take part in it because it makes you more employable, and that's usually the main reason students are coming in order to give themselves the best chance of getting the job they want after the degree. You can also study or work abroad. You would be abroad already, but you can go to one of our partners overseas, either for 1 semester or for a full year. This would be in your 2nd year of your degree. So that could be in Spain, it could be in Germany, one of our European partners, it could be in the States, it could potentially be in Australia at Edith Cowan University, one of our other partners. And again, you can learn a language for free, which is fantastic, and something I took advantage of as well, albeit I made a strange decision and took Arabic for a semester and really beat myself up about it because it was, for me, impossible. But yeah, we have from Arabic to Mandarin, Japanese, and then all of your European languages as well. I think there's about 6 or 7 European languages. And this takes place on Wednesday afternoons. So in Portsmouth, Wednesday afternoon is the sacred free time for students. So everyone is free Wednesday afternoon. This is your chance to get involved in clubs, in societies, but you can learn a language for free in this period if you wish to do so. And again, it's another way of opening doors, meeting new people from other parts of the university that may have similar interests to you, and just doing something a bit different, developing your CV, like I said, making yourself as employable as possible for when you graduate. Finally, we have summer schools in China, Malaysia. We also have one in India, and we're looking at developing one potentially in France as well. So on the summer schools, it's usually around a 10-day trip. You go away with other students from the university. You visit some of our partners overseas. So, for example, you go and see 2 or 3 of our university partners in China, do some cultural workshops, some linguistic workshops, and then a little bit of tourism as well. And yeah, expand your network with other University of Portsmouth students, but also meeting people from our partner institutions as well, which is a really enriching experience, gotta say. So I didn't have enough space on the slide to list all of our clubs and societies, but I've listed a few here. So these are some of the more popular ones that we have. But yeah, there's societies from all walks of life. They're very, very niche societies. There used to be a Quidditch society. I'm not sure if that one is still going. But yeah, the best way to get into them is to go along to the Freshers' Fair when you first start in your orientation week, and you can go and speak to each individual society and talk to them about the costs for joining. Some of them are quite cheap or free, whereas the Skydiving Society, for example, has a bit more of a hefty fee for getting involved, more costs and insurance and things like that involved. But there's a lot on offer from the university, I would say, comparably speaking. So it's there if you want to take advantage of it, and we do encourage students to get involved in, at least 2 or 3 societies to keep you busy, to keep expanding your network and to try new things, because that is a big thing for me about what going to university is all about, especially if you're going overseas for it. Okay, this is the big news at the moment at the university, something I'm very excited about as well. So at the moment, we have 3 main sports centres on campus, but we have what's going to be the UK's greenest sports centre opening towards the end of this year, called Ravelin Sports Centre. It's going to have a new swimming pool, big fitness suite, a ski simulator, which we're very, very, very pumped about. But more so, I'm pretty excited about the climbing wall, the bouldering. It's going to be new sports halls. It's going to be amazing. Very, very, very excited. There's some videos on YouTube about it. You can see the development of Ravelin Sports Centre if you're interested. But yeah, that's going to be open in 1 or 2 months from now, so just in time for new students joining this month, next month. So that's very, very exciting, and yeah, for you guys on this call, it'll be ready for when you're joining. In our global office as well, the international office, we arrange a number of events, excursions throughout the year as well, within the UK, so you guys get to see more than just Portsmouth and London. So we go up to Edinburgh to see Edinburgh Castle. We can go surfing out in Cornwall, out in the far west. We visit a number of places around the UK. But in the middle there, you can see where there's some people dancing at the front. This is our Festival of Cultures, where we have all of our nationalities on display. Around the edge of the student union, everyone kind of does a stand, and they can show off their home culture, basically. So some people do cook their home cuisine, people dress in national attire, and yeah, we have a stage at the front. Some people do performances as well. It's a really special occasion. This happens each March every year, and obviously this photo was taken pre-pandemic. It's going to look a little bit different going forwards, I imagine. In terms of working during your studies, international students are permitted to work up to 20 hours per week whilst in term time. So that's while you're studying, but outside of that, you can actually work full-time. So over the course of Easter holidays, Christmas holidays, if you want to stay, most international students go home, but if you want to stay, you can work full-time. And in Portsmouth, there's great opportunity to work part-time if you want to do so. It's a great way to integrate yourself into the community. Again, develop your CV, meet different people outside of the university, and yeah, make yourself more employable. But yeah, something special about Portsmouth, I would say, is that we're the only university in the city. So a lot of the bars, clubs, restaurants, stores, the industries in the city, they rely on our students to work for them. Rather than if you go to some of the bigger cities in the UK, you'll find there are 5, 6, 7 universities all in the same city, which provides a lot more competition. If you think each university is going to have potentially 20, 30,000 students each. So yeah, I hadn't mentioned actually the population of Portsmouth. Good chance to do so. So we have a population of about 200,000. Or that's the city, and then over 10% of that, so about 25,000, is just students in the university. So it is a young place, it's a vibrant place, cosmopolitan place, and out of the 25,000 students, we have 5,000 international. So yeah, it's quite a young and diverse place, something I really like about Portsmouth. In terms of after you finish your degree, we have a careers and employability service that will support you up to 5 years after you finish. We have recruitment fairs on campus, which are really great opportunities for our students to meet face-to-face with potential employers. A big one that we have here is IBM. They have their headquarters in Portsmouth, which is great for our students, people studying marketing, people on engineering courses. I mean, IBM are taking on people from all kinds of industries, which is great. We have Boeing systems, Rolls-Royce just down the road as well, very close to Portsmouth. And apart from that, a lot of smaller startups as well, which it depends on your career path, but there's a lot of different options there. It's just a good way to meet and to hear specifically what they're looking for in graduates. This is a big one. So in terms of international tuition fees in the UK, they are on the rise, I would say, but the good thing in Portsmouth, and this is special and again unique, that Norwegians will pay the home fees when starting this year or next year. So that's for the full duration of your course as well. So if your course is 3 years or 4 years, you'll pay the same fee for the full duration. So that's, yeah, confirmed home fees for Norwegians starting next September or January. It is kind of something that we confirmed last year for students starting 2021 and also for students starting 2022. I do hope we'll be able to confirm it for students starting 2023, 24, etc., but it's on a rolling basis at the moment. So if that does apply to you, I would say keep in touch, and yeah, it's a case of watch this space and we'll keep you in the loop. But yeah, that's the main point. If you take anything away from this, I would say the main takeaway is that we're doing everything we can to facilitate the Lånekassen funding will be enough, I would say, to cover your fees and things like that. Accommodation is quite nice in Portsmouth. It's a lot nicer. I won't tell you where I went to university, but it's a lot nicer here. We have some very stylish accommodation on campus, some IKEA style showroom accommodation, which I think is too nice in some circumstances, but yeah, there's a lot of accommodation. It's all 5-6 minutes walk on average from where you'll be studying, again, which is great. You can wake up at 8:45 and be in class by 9 o'clock. And yeah, everyone is guaranteed a room on campus in the first year of study. That's if you meet the deadlines. Yeah, if there's any questions about that, please feel free to put them in the chat or ask in a moment. if you are a current student at a Norwegian university and you're thinking, maybe I want to go and study my master's, or maybe I just want to do a semester in Portsmouth or do 1 year in Portsmouth, that's also possible as well. So you don't have to come to Portsmouth to do your full degree or your full master's. We do have the study abroad program as well, which is for some people the best of both worlds. Maybe they don't want to leave or commit to too much time overseas, or they don't want to make such a big financial investment in doing the full degree. So that's an alternative option as well that we can discuss. And I just want to leave some of our social media tags there. I think the Instagram one is probably the one I most recommend. We have a lot of student takeovers, so rather than some person that's getting paid to try and sell Portsmouth to you guys, you get to hear the student voice. We say from the horse's mouth in English. And yeah, that's the one I would most recommend. But otherwise, I'd just like to say tusen takk for joining us. And just to say thanks a lot to Sonar, to Thomas and all the colleagues there, not just for today, but for everything you guys do for Norwegian students, much appreciated. And yeah, we always get fantastic feedback about colleagues in Sonar. So we're really proud to work with you guys. And yeah, thanks for your partnership.
Thanks. Thanks a lot for that presentation, Jonathan. I just briefly want to backtrack a bit about the scholarships that you mentioned, because it is actually I would say a freaking big deal that you are offering Norwegian students, because the fact that Norwegian students are paying home fees makes Portsmouth the most affordable option in the UK, and on top of that you provide excellent student satisfaction. I believe you are like one of the top ranked universities in the UK in terms of students being happy with their student experience at Portsmouth, and also everything else you mentioned with employability, your career center, and everything that makes Portsmouth a really, I mean, it would be fun in the first place, but for what you're actually paying, it's really good. So definitely just wanted to backtrack a bit on that and hammer out that point. But I've got some questions. Just give me 1 sec here. So yeah, do you offer any bachelor degrees with start in January?
No, unfortunately not. So the January start at Portsmouth is only for our master's degrees, but the offering is growing. We have about 30 master's degrees now, which we offer starting in January. But yeah, the bachelors unfortunately are only September, October start each year. If it's a case that you wanting to start as soon as possible, there is still time potentially to get in a last minute application to start at the end of this month. It would be tight, but I'd be able to speak to colleagues in admissions and potentially get that through. What I'd recommend is make an appointment with Thomas and his team as soon as possible to get the ball rolling with that, and we'll see what strings we can pull. So for those who are eager to start and not wait another year for starting their bachelor's degree, there is still some options. Next question is about your academic calendar. So approximately how long are the semesters and the breaks in between? So the first one is from September to Christmas, and then yes, students often go home, spend Christmas holidays with their family, New Year, come back, and then start again in like mid-January. And then that one goes on till about April, May time, and then you'll have exams period up until the summer. And then you have a nice 2-3 month break over the summer. It can be a break. Some students would stay and work, or go home and work, or travel, or do something. And that's for the undergrad. For for the bachelor's degrees. If it's a master's degree, you would be studying over the summer period. So master's is like end of September, October, right till October. So we'd use three, it would be like 3 trimesters. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, I have a few more questions lined up but for the rest of you, if you have any more, just feel free to type in either directly to me or open to everyone, whatever you feel like doing. The next question is there any extra application to like receive the home tuition fee scholarship, or is that
Yeah, that's guaranteed for, so the terms and conditions, let's say in basic terms, the eligibility, you need to be an EEA, so that's the European Economic Area, or it's like a Norwegian or a Spanish or European. So no, let's say in most of your cases, I'll assume Norway, if you have a Norwegian passport and you've been resident in Norway for at least the 3 years that precede your course start date, then generally speaking, you'd be eligible. You don't need to apply for that. It will automatically happen to your record once you've submitted your application. And yeah, then you'd be paying 9,250 for your tuition rather than, let's say, 17,000 pounds. So it's almost half price. I mean, that sounds crazy, but yeah, that's something we put in place in general to try and ensure that we keep bringing Europeans to the city of Portsmouth and to the university in particular post Brexit. So obviously, as an institution, we're apolitical, obviously, but we would like to continue to have Europeans obviously on campus. So as part of that, we were able to include Norway and the EEA in that scholarship, and the hope is that going forwards it will continue as well. So yeah, you don't need to apply, there's no extra application, just as long as you have a Norwegian passport, you've been in Norway for the 3 years preceding your course start date, you'll be eligible.
Perfect. So next question, what opportunities do you have to study renewable energy and climate change at Portsmouth?
Yes. Let me have a quick look. So we have, it depends at what level you're looking at. At bachelor's level, we have things in electrical and renewable energy engineering. We also have it at a master's level as well. You can study it as an integrated course, so it would be a 4-year bachelor and master's course. We also have study groups, research groups for students to study at doctoral level as well in terms of renewable. There's also a very popular MSc course that I can't remember. Sustainability.
Yeah, I also know that you're doing a lot of research when it comes to renewable energy and climate studies and environmental studies and such. And also, I believe that at the University of Portsmouth, you have helped develop an enzyme that digests plastic to
plastic consuming enzyme.
Exactly, which is I find it very exciting. So that's one of the examples of the brilliant research that's done at the University of Portsmouth, and which you as a student can benefit from.
Yeah, definitely. That's something unique. I mean, studying and learning from people that are active in research like this, as Tom says. The other course that I wasn't sure if the question was regarding a bachelor's degree or a master's degree.
But the other one, a bachelor's degree, actually.
Okay, all right. So yeah, we do have the bachelor's degree, but we also have the MSc Environmental Geology and Contamination as well. We also have a BSc in Geology. Yeah, a few options there. the best place to start if you want to start your research at home, on our website, you can search for geology or sustainability or for environmental sciences on our homepage. And on each course has its own specific subject page. And on there you can see year 1, year 2, and year 3, and it shows you the courses that you would take on each specific year. That's a really good starting point. And then if it appeals to you, I would then say speak to someone from Sonar to see if it's the right time to apply.
We can definitely help out with regards to that. I don't think we have any more questions then. I'll let you have a couple of more minutes to think, work out some questions if you have any. But while you're doing that, I can just also then briefly mention that you can also follow Study Outside Norway on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram as well. We have student takeovers every now and then, so like with the University of Portsmouth, you can actually see what the students are doing out in the world. So I would definitely, especially if you're still in the research phase, whether or not studying abroad is something for you, I would make sure to follow us on social media. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have any more questions for us this evening, Jonathan. Is there anything now towards the end that you want to add?
I think that's it. It's been fun, and yeah, thank you very much for hosting us, Thomas, as always, and for everyone for joining. I'm happy to have an informal chat if anybody has any doubts, anything you want to ask, or just to have a chat about Portsmouth to see if it is or isn't the right place for you as well. I have colleagues also around the UK. If you're interested in other universities in other cities and you want to get in touch with them, happy to pass you their way as well. And yeah, if you just want to have a chat about different recommendations, I'm here as well.
Yeah. Actually, there is one more question. What does the application process look like? So, yeah.
Good question. We didn't really talk about that. So yeah, usually you need four main things to apply. So your academic document, so that would be either your vitnemål or your bachelor's degree, firstly. You can apply with it in Norwegian initially, but we would need it translating before you are fully accepted to the university. So that's the first thing. The second thing, if you don't have vitnemål English with 4, then we would need something to show your level of English, such as IELTS or TOEFL, for example. In addition to these 2 things, we require 1 academic reference if you're applying for a bachelor's degree, or 2 references if you're applying for a master's degree. If you're applying for a master's degree, one of your references could be from an employer, for example. It doesn't need to be both academic. And then finally, we ask all students to write a personal statement, which is like a motivational letter. So why this course? Why University of Portsmouth? A little bit about your background, interests, how these relate to the degree at Portsmouth, and then what you plan to do afterwards. How do you link it all together? And it doesn't need to be too extensive. You don't need to write a full paper. I think 1 side of A4 is sufficient. Just ensure that you address, these maybe 3-4 main points, and kind of tell your story a little bit to the admissions officer who is looking at your case. And yeah, that's the 4 main things. So your academic background, whether that's a vitnemål or the bachelor, something to show your English level, references, and a personal statement.
And like I mentioned at the beginning, your counselor in Sonar will also help you out with the application and also give you pointers on what to include in your personal statement as well. So yeah, don't despair. We are helping you all the way. And while you were answering that question, Jonathan, I actually got one more question. How is the student community? Is it mostly very dedicated people?
The community, yeah, I would say Portsmouth has a good balance, I would say, of the two. It is quite a studious community. I would say it's becoming more and more of a studious community. We're one of the first universities. This may be a good or a bad thing depending on who you are, but we closed the student union bar in Portsmouth a couple of years ago, because of the student community. Really, it just wasn't being utilized as much, and it now serves a better purpose. So in terms of the community in Portsmouth, that probably tells you that the students that are coming to Portsmouth are more the type of people that like to, maybe I would say, do outdoors activities, go to coffee shops, rather than just get drunk on cheap beer and things like that. You can still do that, I've heard from a friend. You can still do that in Portsmouth, but it's not, I wouldn't say that's really part of the vibe in Portsmouth. Yeah, you can still do that, but I would say the student community in general, it's very diverse. There's people from lots of different backgrounds, and yeah, I think the coffee shop culture is definitely growing, which is great. And yeah, people are much more focused on their studies and kind of doing activities rather than the old-fashioned British go to university and drink and things like that, which is a positive thing in my opinion.
Yeah, so you can still go for the occasional pub crawl, but students are opting to take their education seriously as well.
Yeah, in terms of, like I said, the student union bar closing, but I think kind of the nighttime socializing is still very, very big, and I participate in that as well. But it's different. It shifted a lot in Portsmouth in particular. So now we have a lot of microbreweries and things like that popping up. So it's more a case of kind of pairing beers and food and sampling different things rather than going out and being silly with cheap beer. That's kind of the direction I think it's heading in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that. I think now we have reached the end of the questions. But like Jonathan said, if you guys have any question, feel free to reach out to either me or the rest of the Sonar team, or indeed to Jonathan if you have any questions. We are,
or to Margaret. Yeah, she knows Portsmouth very well. She's been at least once. She was here a few years ago, I remember. And maybe Shetel has been here as well.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you guys for joining us this evening. And I wish you the best of luck, and I really hope that you check out Portsmouth. It's a fantastic place of the world, and it can be your new home. Yes, so thanks a lot. Have a good evening, and best of luck with your applications and your everything, I guess. So yeah, good evening.
Cheers.